All right. Hi, everybody. Mr. Basic here. And we will see. My internet is pretty wonky right now. We shall see and hope that everything goes well tonight. And we got a wonderful show for you tonight. Um, Now, first of all, I'm going to just go and check out these chords that I laid down last live stream. And I haven't been back here since then. So I just plugged in the MIDI. I just unpatched and repatched everything, but I plugged in the MIDI to the Arturia Micro Brute or the Mini Brute, so I can arpeggiate these chords. And so I'm going to try to do that first, and then what I'm going to do is talk about the new Behringer Poly D that they just sprung on us, and sprung a good video on us, and then I'm going to talk about what mainly I've been really excited about these last couple of weeks is my experience with Twitch these last couple of weeks. And I want to talk about that. And then after that, we can just go ahead and slow down and turn on the Eurorack modular synth. And what we'll do is go rings into clouds and then another rings into clouds and do them both and just relax with that for the rest of the stream, for anyone who wants to just stay longer. Okay, so let's check this out. First of all, let's go with what we had going on last week, more or less. This is 84. 84. C major. Okay, let's see. That's what a monosynth does with chords. Now let's see what it does with the arpeggiator on. On, but we'll just go ahead and hold, and that'll fill out some more notes, I think. Play with the divisions. Chords anyway. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Yeah. So that's kind of like what I was looking for. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I'm not sure I want that type of publicity. All right. Well, anyway, so on that note, that's where I was going to go now, is to talk about that, because I just went on online and saw that video. I was just hanging out in people's Twitch streams actually before that, while doing everything else around the house and all that. Hey, Marshall. Nice to see you here, Marshall Arnold. Awesome. And my video mix, it's good to see you here. Cool. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, man, that's something to talk about. Maybe some people don't care, and I could understand that since it's seems to be just basically using four oscillators to be poly that way. And well, I don't know. I guess however you do it, um, I like the package better than having to polychain four Model Ds, which you can do, obviously. And we've heard already from comments a lot, like people who have been chaining the D, the Behringer Model D. Decided to get four of them or so, and this definitely would be at least financially probably a better way to go if that was an option back then until now. But it is. And also the keyboard. See, that's what really gets me is like, see, this is great. And I've always liked the idea of having a quality keyboard as your keyboard that you play everything with. And that would definitely be my synth and my MIDI keyboard thing all together. That was really kind of like what I've always been looking for. That's why I liked the mono station is really kind of like my ideal. But, you know, I would like to just, have a keyboard to play. I am kind of like a keyboard guy, so at heart, I mean, I'm not a keyboardist by any stretch. But yeah. So I definitely want it. It's the thing I want. I want it more than any other synth. I want it more than any other poly synth. I think it's just for me. They made it just for me. They were thinking of me when they made it. I know I've said that about some things, like recently, like the 707 and the 101 from Roland. But yeah, I think just all in all, I'm just really excited because it seems like everything's blowing up. It is really the golden age. Companies are starting to listen to people because just there's more people out there, and there are just newfound ways for everyone to start getting excited about sound design. Partially the whole idea of the fact that music has gotten to the point where it's just so rigid. It all kind of like sounds the same because everyone's using the same rules now, because everyone's like, this is how we do it. And we need to like branch that back out again, like what happened in the 80s, creatively, compositionally with music. I feel like in the 90s there was a sort of conservatism in music of like inspecting everything to see if it was cool enough to be popular, and that kind of limited everybody. But then now we're back to the way it was in the 80s, where you had to like stand out in some other way, some visually or something, and then your music will be heard. And hey, I can understand people not liking that, but I thought it was cool in a way, like people like Cyndi Lauper. Everybody, if everybody was just kind of like more individual acting, then I think that would be great. Or more grassrootsizing everything anyway. How much it will cost? I was thinking 500 would be great. Sub 500 would be great. What do you think? What do you think about the price of the Behringer Poly D? So the original Model D is 300 US dollars or roundabouts. So this is has a keyboard and all that functionality and whatnot. It has the pitch and mod wheel, and then it has that knob that the guy on the Behringer video, seemed to like to use a lot. That was doing the rate of the LFO, and then the mod wheel was doing the amount of that modulation. seemed like the knob next to it was doing the rate of the modulation. Anyway, um, but but yeah, even if everyone goes out and buys one and everyone has their Model D, just like they actually do now, like all the bands that are out there, if they show off their synths, it's like, yeah, I have a Model D or a little fatty or a sub fatty or a sub 37, and it's kind of like that thing that's besides Roland gear and Korg gear that really bleeds out to the everyone world and not just the synth world. But of course, it's not the name of Moog. But it's just it's got the character, it's got the flavor, um, sound wise and visually, and it's just. But then you've got your voices, and I always thought that having four voices is great. The matriarch is great. Anybody? Do you have Marshall? Doesn't I mean Marshall has the 101. I mean the 101, the Moog one. You have the Moog one. Some people I know have the matriarch. The matriarch is four voices. Um, yeah, I would say 500. Yeah, yeah, 500. Let's say 499. Obviously they call it that 499. We'll say it's probably going to be that. Um, if it were 600, it wouldn't be Behringer, would it? Would it? The DeepMind 12 went down in price considerably since it came out, and the DeepMind 6. Um, so, and they've changed everything since then. Behringer has got their facility now, so their Chinese facility. So I would imagine it can't be anything over 500. So that's great. Yeah. The matriarch is just too much. Man, it's just too much. Hey, Brian, nice to see you back. How's it going? Um, yeah. So, I was always kind of interested in the Model D, the Behringer one for just it can fit in Eurorack and whatnot. But I kind of wished that it fit like just all by itself in an audio rack, just like that, because like why not? And so this kind of satisfies that and satisfies the keyboard element of I don't know, yeah, whether I need to rely on a key step for plugged into something else for my studio, or whether I could use that much more quality key bed. Hey, inverted popes, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Everybody's here on this late night. Everybody's up still. Yeah. Oh yeah, on the way to work. You're up. You're up, up early. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you have the Model D. Can't complain. Neither can other people that I know who have it. Yeah. Yeah, the talk stops a lot of the talk stops after you actually get one. But and even the tuning thing, I was like, yep, you know. I know that Marshall did a cool video on the tuning. I say cool because it was very informative on. It's just very real and informative on. Hey, like this was my experience with having to tune my Model D, and that's cool. Um, Back in the day, that was like 2 years ago, um, a year and a half ago, and yeah. So I got the D fam over here, and I kind of like I kind of. So how big is the Poly D? It looks like it's like a 5U sort of face, or at least 4U. It looks like it's like 4U. Yes, it looks like it's for you tall, the face of the synth part, right? It's a Model D Neutron O Coast Digitone for voices. Now busting into the Eurorack. Yeah, wasn't too tough to tune. What I thought that the warp drive was gonna be when they were teasing it was I thought it was just gonna be a an automatic like it tunes it button that was like somehow there, but you have to make some modification, or like it's not in the back, but it was just some kind of thing that you can do with the controls that are already on it now to, I don't know. But yeah, that I guess that's not really possible. If it were, they would have fixed it sooner. Uh, but it's cool anyway. Um, yeah, I kind of have been interested in the Behringer, the Pro One. Um, is also one of those that's just kind of like it's fully analog and just kind of like trying to be like the original and not really worried too much, except for the Eurorack patch points that it adds of being that much in more modern or anything. Scared of Eurorack, so you went spent a lot on semi-modular. Well, I started out semi-modular too, but it was kind of like, yeah, it was like I didn't think I would go for the cables here. I'm like, oh, it's messy and gross, and you're trying to get rid of your cables in your studio and not see any cables, but I've given in. All right, later inverted popes. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, 7:32 a.m. in the UK right now, and yeah, that's cool. So I don't think that there's too much really for me to say about the Poly D, except I'm more excited about it than anything else right now. So I know it's the first day, and I know I get excited about things, but in the wide world of things, I think I'm pretty good at curating a smaller list in my head of things that really hit the mark. And I think this is really going to hit the mark. So, in terms of if you're thinking like ethical and political stuff about this, that I I don't really want to talk about in this live stream or really get into it. So, because I don't really feel like now is the time yet for that. Yeah, I really like the cables now. You know what? It's really fun is just pulling them all out. Just pulling them all out, man. Just earlier today, I was just yanking them all out. I love it. I love it. And just have your little nest there in your hand, and then it's all clean, and there's no more patch, and it's just there's a feeling that you get, and it's kind of like it's like a breeze. It's like a cool breeze. so I'm gonna move on from that. Um, Even though we've got Marshall here, and you're the Moog master over there, and you're awesome that way. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Um, or not just Moog, but of many scents and music making and all that stuff. Marshall's been around and really helped inspired me to go live, um, along with some other people that started doing it right when YouTube started. Right. Okay. So, so here's the deal. A couple years ago, I found out about these guys, Dan and Coherence, who they did this show on YouTube. At least it was restreamed on YouTube, called Gear Splaining. Right? It's called Gear Splaining, one word, and it's Dan Kushner and Coherence. I forgot it. I forgot his name. I just know him by Coherence. Anyway, they kind of do this they duo thing, and put it together as this synth talk show. and not just synth, but music production, and music news, like news about popular musicians maybe, or whatever. And so because there's like court cases and copyright stuff to think about, and issues like sampling, and they just go through everything. So these guys have been at least seem like they've been in the game for a little while, of like really caring about all this stuff and being journalists about it and whatnot, because they live making music live in front of people online and live streaming and stuff like that. And mainly this guy, Dan Kushner. And so I've been following his streams for a while now, all ever since this maybe 2 years ago that I started paying attention to him and the Golden Shrimp Crew. And they're on Discord. And basically, what they are is they're all streaming on Twitch of either hardware jams or DJing or any kind of live music oriented stuff, performance oriented or DJing. So basically, yeah, all these guys, they even have a schedule. It's a rough schedule that people can get on and do all that. Interesting thing is, I never paid attention to anyone except for Dan all this time, because I wasn't going to watch anything on Twitch, and I haven't, and I didn't go over to Twitch to watch anything. So unless something was restreamed, I didn't watch it. And Dan restreamed his stuff on YouTube. And I was sitting there a lot of times as one of the only two people watching on YouTube, when there was more, obviously, people watching on Twitch at the same time. So yeah, and basically what's just happened is, I've just in the last week or two, I've just met a lot of other really cool people, because I've decided to go and get the Twitch app on my phone and get the Twitch app on my computer, right? And then start watching things on Twitch, right? Okay, so I can not just watch Dan, but I can watch everybody. And the thing that happens on Twitch is, here's the deal. This is something that you might already know about and have just brushed over in your mind or whatnot. But think of this in comparison to YouTube, and say what we're doing here as social media and chatting with each other, and getting to know about more people and to know about each other and network with each other and maybe collab and stuff like that. Okay, so on Twitch, there's this thing called raids. And raid is basically, is just, the thing is, you got so many viewers watching you, right? Playing on your hardware, doing stuff like I was just doing there, or DJing music, and everybody's having a good time, but 3 or 4 hours have gone by, and you're done with your set, and you got to move on, or you got to sleep or something, and it's time for what? And so you decide as the streamer that, okay, we're all going to raid this person now, and that entire viewing base, everybody who was watching you, goes off to see the next person, and then goes off to see the next person, and off to see the next person. So basically what they've got going here on Twitch is a sort of, when it gets going like that, is a sort of virtual city, like a little town, or like a little downtown, where you've got all these venues, and everybody is just hopping from the next place to the next place to the next place, right? And you go into a new place, and it's kind of like, and this has just been my experience, because, and I realize it's because that I just got on, and I'm not seeing the same people over and over again, and maybe I will hit that wall and think, well, I'm just seeing the same people over and over again. But what I've experienced now is that I'm like, oh, it's a new place. Oh, hey, where are we now? Oh, hey, where are we now? Oh, where did we get raided to now? I was like, whoa, this is cool. Where are we now? And it's always someplace cool, and it's always some cool show going on, right? Twitch is awesome. And I don't game. I don't play games anymore. I don't even play video games anymore, like at all. Like, I'll play some kind of driving game or GTA for 10 minutes at a time. Maybe a year ago I was doing that, but now I don't even do that because I'm just like so scant on my free time, and I have to just, you know. Anyway, but if anything, I've played some Mario Kart with my daughter, and that's cool. But we've kept that even to a minimum. But anyway, yeah, definitely not into the whole people streaming games thing. That's cool and all that, but like I think it's really interesting and it makes me think. So like think about that in compared to YouTube. And I'm not even going to talk about COPPA and the FTC and all that stuff and how YouTube has reacted themselves to the lawsuit against them and what decisions they've made out of that and all that stuff. Oh man, can we get into that? Oh man, can we get into that? But I didn't label it that way because I'm not going to talk about that. But and so I'm not talking about really jumping ship from YouTube. I'll be on YouTube as long as YouTube is here, but Brian sold his gaming rig to get to get into modular. That's great. Um, yeah, so you can stream if it's not game related or anything related. There's ASMR on there, of which I really like. Fish view. Fish view is the thing where you just watch the fish, and you hear the bubbles, and the bubbles are really, man, they're really stereo intense, and it's good. I like it, but I like that kind of thing. The other types I don't. I'm not so into. Yeah, so basically that really opens things up if you get to understand, which is what I'm going to do in the next few months. I'm going to research it. I'm going to get to understand what do you come to expect out of Twitch? Like, why are you on Twitch? Does anybody have any ideas about that now? And anybody watching later, get it in the comments too about like how do you feel about like what is it even for, like compared to something like YouTube? Like YouTube, it seems like does it seem like YouTube is dead in a way in terms of uh viewers viewer communication and viewer discovery, like cross viewer discovery and stuff? I mean, I know like the whole deal about YouTube is YouTube used to be all people, and now it's a lot of TV and it's a lot of shows, and it's pressuring all the ordinary people to put out quality shows. And I really understand that, but that is the way YouTube is going. And you look over at Twitch, and it's totally not focused that way. It's totally just focused on we're just people. We're still always just going to be people. If there's a copyright issue, they won't do anything to you. They'll just mute your content. They'll just mute that part of it, and they automatically mute songs that were already somebody else's. They'll mute that part of your video, and the rest of it you'll be able to hear after in the video afterwards. But while it's live, um, anything goes, and that's not. It's far from anything goes on YouTube, and even more so, and even more so. It seems like. So this is what I'm thinking. My hand is over like. If you can't see, I'm like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, the algorithms on YouTube. I am deeply aware of the algorithms on YouTube and have been all these last 3 years aware of each and every little change and how it has affected everything, and from all the different perspectives. And because that's how I started out a few years ago. I was like, okay, start out Mr. Basic, blah blah blah. I'm gonna put videos up. What am I gonna put videos like nature videos and stuff, right? Okay, so I look at YouTube's music library and I'm like, oh man, I can't do that. Oh man, I'm a musician. I love music more than anything. I have to make the music for it. And then it's like, oh, synthesizers, and I'm like, and that's why I'm a synthesizer person. But anyway, so like YouTube to me, I always went through the whole rigmarole of like this is how you think of YouTube. If you want to be successful on it, you just do these things, and it's true. And you just do everything that you need to do to be successful on YouTube, and you can. But in a way, in the end, you have to be one of those people that wanted all those things that you were gonna do with that you're gonna do with your page. And I just decided to not care about any of that. Um, but I also want more discovery. I want to discover more people and more real people. And so this whole thing about, everybody kind of gets handed off to everybody in these raids, right? I think really helps things along in discovery. And this is just people discovery of people, and it's not even in the same vein of like Instagram, where it's just like people taking pictures of themselves. Well, that might be cool too, but I'm just not familiar because I haven't gone there. I wasn't gonna go Twitch, but now I'm thinking of maybe if there's any point where I feel like YouTube, I have to create a certain type of content for YouTube, especially if it's adult only instead of kids only. Like families can't watch YouTube together, and you're assuming they don't. Like, what the heck? And guess what? The FTC and COPA did make stipulations for general audience, but YouTube isn't telling the story like that because of the way they were treated. They really do feel like they have to cut the line right there and say, you must say first that you're not making, it's all for good intentions, and actually it might actually keep a lot of the really bad evil off of the televisions and tablets of our kids, because it's really aimed at attacking the worst Korean industrial complex that has been so successful on YouTube. No, Koreans are great, and Korea is great. But they've been successful business wise with those videos over there. With their kids and ours and all over the world, that just have that formula for getting your kid to just keep watching and want to keep watching and just really have fits about it and stuff like that, when it's really just baby content that's 2 years below them and stuff like that, and then just sells their products. They feel it's wrong to use our kids for people to sell just their products. I mean, the whole like Ryan's World thing and Walmart, like if you know anything about that, see, I don't even have to say, like, this is the most angering thing happening today. Like this, it's crazy. And so YouTube trying to change that is cool. So I'm not saying I'm jumping ship on YouTube, but wow. Twitch. Okay, so let me just give some shout outs. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna go through this just to give any kind of viewer just a general idea of like how excited somebody could be about meeting a bunch of people all at once and who are actually, and just going into different worlds who are unrelated to that, and meeting more people and having great connections. Anyway, so the Golden Shrimp crew, Dan Kushner is the captain of that crew, and I would highly recommend that you check him out on YouTube or Twitch. All right, take it easy, Marshall. Have a good night. Sleep tight. I just had another Octoshot, so I've got a few more hours, and then I'm gonna get to bed. I'm gonna help. The clouds are gonna help me. All right. So then there's Coherence, and they do the Gears plating show, and that is really good too. So apart from that, I decided to watch some people that are doing kind of like the same thing that I'm doing here, and one of the first ones, David Miner, he is streaming on Twitch. He was, when I was on that that last time he was playing around with the digitone and going through all the sounds and just showing how it's just really hard to make a sound that you don't just totally love with the digitone. It's pretty cool. So, and that was fun, but I kind of it just realized how much of a small world it is because um I found out he was in Seattle, right? And I'm like, oh, well, did you go to Velocity? Because I went to the Velocity Modular event in Seattle, and he's like, yeah, I was there, and it's just like, oh, well, we might have saw each other. It's like, wow, small world. but but actually, modular is a small world that's growing. But like, I am connected to a lot of people all around the world because of modular now, and that's kind of cool because of modular stuff and just synthesizers in general and all that hardware. Um, Tremendum Labs is what that led me to. I believe that led me to. And that was another good one too. They've got some good things going on. They had the green screen with good effects and all that. They were putting on a good live show of just a bunch of multiple guys playing on the hardware all at once, and that was cool. And MIDI controllers and whatnot, everything that it takes. And then so the deal is, there are more than just hardware or synthesizer players or piano players or musicians like that on YouTube. Also, one that I then got to see was DJ Sweeby. And DJ Sweeby played a lot of the cool music that I had been into in the past in his retro show, and then also in another show he played a lot of stuff I was into later, like in DDR, and later than that when I was listening to a lot of chiptune stuff and future bass. But he just plays trance and everything, just kind of like all sorts of electronic music. But then from there, the raids started happening. And I've been on DJ Sweeby's show, or just watching his show like 3 or 4 times now, and then got raided to somewhere else. And so then there's Julie Jane, and she's also on the Shrimp Crew as well, I believe. And that was a good show, another DJ. And then there was Beat Theory. Beat Theory is a really great show. I got to hear some deep house. And so basically, okay, what I'm talking about here is like I've been listening to Pandora Radio for years and years and years now. I've switched stations and switched types of music over the years, right? But I've mainly been sticking with Pandora, and sometimes close to 7-8 hours a day, meaning while all the time I'm working at work, I can listen to music. I've been listening to for well over a year now. It's been the Progressive House station. Actually, not the Progressive House station. It was that, and then I changed it to an artist-based algorithm, and anything like Dinka, which they considered Progressive House. Never mind about the term progressive, but anyway, so Dinka is what I've been listening to mainly. But the thing is, like, I kind of have been feeling like I need to branch out from just the house studies now and listen to something outside of house, besides house and lo-fi hip hop on when I need to just more chill. So basically, listening to DJs is kind of something I never thought about before, but this is a way that I not only get music that that we human beings and people my age, well, we grew up with a lot of cool music, and there's a lot of things that came out that we just didn't remember about anymore, and it just pops up, and somebody plays it, and that's just kind of like golden, but you don't really get a good experience with that in the car. broadcast radio stations that you get in your car are very, I don't know, very stereotyped and very patterned to where, well, you have heard all those songs, maybe too much, and it's kind of like a different feeling. So, so good DJs, if you can find them, will be constantly playing things that are like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's great. Mixed with things that are like, I've never heard that before. That's great. Why have I never heard that before? Or like even like it was in the 90s. Why didn't I ever hear that before? And because it was underground or something, he stuck it in there because he likes it. And I think everybody knows different music, and that's why it's cool that people are DJing in their bedrooms. And if more people DJ just all around in the world, it'll be a better place than if less people are, because then you get more playlists from different types of people who listen to different things. The more you diversify that way. So, um, so yeah, my kitty cat is better up here than down there with all those chords. Pulling one out, maybe. Cool. Yeah, I was a drummer too. Mainly in school. I was in the jazz band and stuff like that, and I had a drum set, and then I got into mallet percussion. But yeah, that's cool. And I was definitely never into techno, house, or electronic music, except for I was into all sorts of stuff, but I always told myself, oh, just that, you know, just the good stuff. When if you look more, then you find more good stuff, just like any other genre. But yeah, so I'm really happy for things like drum machines and whatnot. Where was I going with this? Aha! Yes, I'm not done yet with the Twitch shouting out of what's been going on. So yeah. Oh, also on the hardware side, Sander Clipper has a good one too. Uh, is he he might be on the Golden Shrimp crew as well? Or not? I'm not sure. Um, but my favorite I haven't mentioned yet um, is Kobe Lax. They is a couple in L.A. Who are DJing, streaming on Twitch, and they tend to stream a lot and really good music. And yeah, um, I would I would say some skill there, not in terms of being a nerd and saying, oh, like that DJ is better than the other or whatever, or I was paying attention to his transitions and blah blah blah. No, I just mean like for somebody who's just listening and not paying attention, it's like, wow, it's just like seamless into from one song into the other, and it does, I don't feel jolted at all or anything like that, and it's just like, wow, good music for hours, and I'm just saying, it's just the overall feeling is great. Kobe Lax, Kobilax. Yeah. So this is pretty much just for anyone who's on Twitch now, and you're wondering whether there's more than just gaming on Twitch. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of discovery to be had, and it seems to be the browsing, like the things that Twitch shows you in its browsing and its genres and stuff like that. It starts out with the most popular and then goes down. It's like, it might not be the best at discovering people, and so that's why I think the raids thing is really important. The fact that that happens, and it can bring people around to branch out more and more to people who don't know each other, to just keep getting together and then eventually know each other. And it just seems really nice. That's the thing, is like I kind of was thinking I should, but um, I don't want to act like I'm just like supporting people uh, in that way, just like as a group. I want to, I like, I want to, what I really want to do is I want to get into actually making a show that really showcases individually people um, that really stand out to me, and prioritize that because I want to give people their individual attention they deserve if I want to start talking about their channels and recommending. And I want to be able to show their channels if I do that. And I think I just want to just tell of my experience. And if you want to be a nerd and like me and everybody and are really interested in like the people I'm talking about, you could totally Google it, Golden Shrimp Crew, in the Discord. They have a good Discord. Mm, yeah. So there's a troll. Twitch has a big troll problem, huh? Yeah. So I still don't know anything about Twitch, I would say, and I'm really gonna keep on watching more videos on YouTube about people talking about Twitch and what's going on with it, and also about Mixer and whether or not that's a viable thing. Because I just heard about the thing about Ninja going from Twitch to Mixer, and which in and of itself, I don't even like. I know about stuff like that in the sense that I don't care what it means now, but I would care if it meant that public opinion goes a certain way to where Mixer becomes something that's bigger than Twitch or better or in some way. But see, that's the thing is I want to know what kind of rewards. I've already started to learn about this stuff, but it's like what kind of rewards can you expect from it? Um, and I mean every kind of reward, like the reward that's the the feeling of freedom to say or do what you want, maybe that you don't feel on another platform, and so you'll make a video on that platform that you don't make on YouTube per se. And so that's what I'm kind of looking at is like if there's a kind of content, like maybe I want to do Mr. Basic live on Twitch and like really not care about what I say or what I do in a way, in a way that I do here because it's YouTube and I know all about the platform. Um, I limit myself in ways maybe, but I'm not even sure whether that's even true, in terms of what they're stingy about or not, and what penalties are for various things, you know. So, so there's a lot to think about that way. Um, my power bank here is at 98%, and that's for part of my modular here, the part that I'll be using, the rings and clouds and rings and clouds. So let's go ahead and plug that in. Oh, let's use this one. All right. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll turn on the mixer part. All right. Yeah, okay, so then also in the mix, I went down and I saw um, Escape Velocity Official. Um, Escape Velocity Official. And there's underscores between each of those words. And they did a Blade Runner inspired show of like all songs that were either inspired by Blade Runner or had some kind of reference in it or something like that. And um, and that was also a duo doing it, a guy and a girl, and they were dressed up, and the girl was dressed up as Rachel from Blade Runner to the point where, yeah, she was an absolute twin, like totally the best representation. And their area that they were in looked sort of spaceshipy and futuristic and stuff, and sort of foggy and whatnot. And so that it was just the best experience. It was just really cool. I was like, whoa, like how did I just step into this? And everybody was having their birthdays that night on like 4 different streams, and that's been like just still going on the last couple days. Everybody's having their birthdays. I don't know why. But so that was just a real experience. And um yeah, and apparently around the circles, everybody people kind of know each other. People talk like they know each other that do different shows and stuff, and they recommend each other's shows. And I know everybody is like possibly a little bit sickeningly sweet to each other, and very encouraging for the sake of being encouraging. But I don't mind that, and I don't, uh, I don't get my uh, mistrust, you know, triggered that way. I just kind of like, I still only trust myself in the end, so. So then I go and I see what's going on wherever we got rated to, and man, it's just been nice to sort of branch out in ways that haven't taken up my time too much, because it's just a listening to shows thing. Yeah, they need non-copyrighted music if they're partnered. Uh, yeah. So there's a lot of thoughts about what kind of content I would think about maybe doing there that would be more appropriate to that platform, than say other platforms. Just the ways in which you could be potentially successful. There's a lot of ways you could go with that, especially if you had some other product online, somewhere else to talk about. Yeah. So what are we looking at here? Let's turn these off. Turn the mono station and the mini brute sound off and just have them be controllers. There's one rings. There's the other. So, how about we turn that up a little bit? Okay, so it's that one that's off. It's this one that's off. Yeah. So, yeah, Golden Shrimp Crew. There's opportunities for other streamers. Yeah, chiptune and synthwave is popular on Twitch. You're not too chatty here, if that's what you mean. Gonna add some feedback over here. Okay. That sounds good. Okay, add some feedback over here. Alright, this is where we just relax. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing where there's follows and there's subscriptions, and follows are free and subscriptions are something you do just as an added thing. Hey, I will create in the house. All right. Yeah, go all out on those after later modules. I recommend them for quality. They are quality. That's what you're hearing right now. My kitty Riri. I like it better with that lamp on. Well, you've made it for the ambient chill out part that we're gonna do before we sleep, but who knows how long we're gonna do this. Maybe forever. Awesome, Brian. I've only tried that a couple times in Eurorack. Great. Nice to see you back, Inverted Popes. But yeah, honestly, I'm really excited about the generative possibilities of having LFOs for all of this stuff. In the real rack, that is, because yeah, in Eurorack, I can just put LFOs on all of it. Well, let's try to do that a little bit here. We can put the monostations LFO. See, we've got Cloudy over here is paying attention to these chords, keeping them safe. These three are coming out of the malt. This yellow one is the LFO out of the monostation here. And I've got it malted out to 3, so I can put it out to different things. Let's mess with clouds a little bit. Let's do... yeah, I guess that would be the pitch would be just always the great thing, huh? Oh, except for that, that we do with the volt per octave, and yeah. But see, that one doesn't have an attenuator, see? Was that painful for anyone? It was nice for me. These headphones. Let's do that again. Oh yeah, the depth. depths down. Oh shoot. Recording? What the heck? Oh yeah, I was still recording. Whoops. Okay, I don't like that. Yeah, it's glitchy. Let's see. What about the rings? Let's go. Let's put that on dampening. Put it on dampening of the other one as well, and we'll put one regular and one inverted. Oh, I see. Yeah, so the mono station, the LFO is set to reset every time the trigger happens, every time a note happens. Here we go. Let's just do that then. But then a note doesn't happen. So it doesn't modulate anything. Oh, well. Hello, Nick Gurr. Nice to see you here. Jelly Duck 100, nice to see you here. The blend, the blend. That's what we wanted into, isn't it? Uh-oh. Because the blend right now, well, that's going to be the reverb, but let's put it into the feedback. Uh-oh. Oh, no, but that's the actual blend. Not just whatever that knob is. Oh, dang. I can't do the feedback. It'll be position, size, density. Let's do density, I guess. Glad I have a compressor, that's for freaking sure. It's limiting to death. Some of these, when the density goes up, obviously. Yeah. No, I don't like that either. Let's see. Go size and position. Here's the blue one. Go size on that one too. the bamboo metal. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, so the bamboo metal, let's see. Yeah, that's because I got the brightness up to almost half, the dampening over to the right. Structure. Yeah, this is where LFOs can go. So position. I have 3 reverbs to work with here. Did that scare anybody? Came on slow enough. Yeah, it's more of that pitch shifting delay. I really like that. I like clouds for that. And that's just mode 1, regular mode of clouds. There's a pitch knob. And it does that. It's the pitch of the repeated grain, not the original grain. And then you blend the original signal with what the clouds creates as a signal, and that creates the delay. So it's not a traditional delay; it does it in its own way. It's a grain delay that does everything that grain does, which is not just delay. Done much work with scrubbing across long samples. compressor is barely keeping it from clipping. single string. Yeah, the plucks are great because they're so natural sounding. Slap a filter on this, for sure. Should I slap a filter on this? Alright, see you soon, Jelly Duck. Take it easy. Stay creative. low swelling. Only if you got headphones that can pick it up.